5 a.m. right now, 5:30. You know, 5 o'clock might be the best time to wake up. There's times where I'm woken up at like 5 and then like, oh, I'm gonna get some more sleep. So I sleep till 6, I sleep till 7, and I wake up actually more tired. But today I jumped out of bed. I screamed out of bed, which is a technique that I used to do. Is it like a light primal scream as soon as you jump out of bed? Something about it just gives you so much energy. It's just try it. Reflecting on my childhood, a big part of it, fortunately and unfortunately, was fighting. I got into a lot of fights when I was a kid. I particularly remember 5 in total. I probably got into more fights here now and then. I probably got into more fights with my brother, but I can only remember truly 5. It's kind of funny how these fights would go down. You typically think it would be me and a kid going at it back and forth, and then we just scrap, right? Not really. It was more like my brother wanted to get entertained, so he was like, hey, Dante, you, that kid, fight. Usually I was friends with this kid too, but we usually would. There was particularly one kid that I got into multiple fights with. Bro, it was like an anime series. We would fight like all the time. This kid was my best friend. We would kick it together, we'd hang out, but when my brother told us to bang it out, we bang it out. This caused me to not like my brother for a long time, have like resentment for him making me fight my friends and making me go through this, because it's painful, it's suffering. Fighting is a huge, because although I grew up in Chicago, I didn't grow up like straight in the hood, straight in the gangs. We saw some of that, you know, but you could argue that I grew up probably nicer than all of my siblings. Now, no, I'm not gonna make this whole video talking about me. The point is, through fighting in my childhood, it has lapsed into my adulthood. And although back then I had resentment, anger, and perhaps even a little hatred towards my brother, who is now actually a professional MMA fighter, I thank him so much for making me go through that and making me fight at a young age. Because if we break down the psychology of fighting, what is fighting? Well, it's two people going at each other with full force. Sometimes it's life or death. Sometimes you have to fight like it is life or death. Like if you have a title match, you have to fight like it's life or death. You have to kill your opponent in the ring, or at least attempt to, until the referee drags you off. It's very enjoyable being in the ring with someone else who is trying to hurt you, trying to kill you. Because here's the thing about modern life. We live in a very sedated state. We're almost drugged with the dopamine on our phones. And we talk about the dopamine triggers all the time. We talk about video games, porn, how these things are just so bad for you. And people don't understand why. If it's enjoyable, why is it bad for me? Well, because too much enjoyment can fry your dopamine hormones, and not hormones, they're not hormones, but too much enjoyment can fry your dopamine, and you basically won't be able to do any hard work. I've been there, even without the porn, even without the video games. Just scrolling on your phone alone can completely and utterly fry your dopamine. That's why in the modern day, we need to put ourselves into situations that are actually hard, that are actually difficult, that will actually cause us suffering. It's kind of like that quote, good man, you've heard it 100 times. I don't even think I need to repeat it. Good man create hard times. Or it's kind of like that quote, hard man create good times, and then good times create soft man, and then soft man create hard times. It's like that, but in your day-to-day. So if you remember when you were on the beginning of the self-improvement journey. You remember when you were a soft man, or maybe you just feel like that already today. Because of your softness, you're gonna go through actually harder problems. You're gonna go through actually harder difficulties. See, if I didn't fight when I was younger, it wouldn't have prepared me for simple difficulties in adult life, simple difficulties with confrontation. See, although when I was younger, awkward, anxiety, yada, 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 throw every label on me, you go ahead. You know what I didn't have a problem with, that Gen Z, this modern time, has a problem with? Confrontation. I've never in my life had a problem with confrontation. And I think it's because fighting unlocks that danger in you. Once you step into the realm of fighting a little bit, you don't have to do a street fight. I'm not telling you to fight somebody just outside in the street. Wouldn't recommend that. Once you do a little bit of Muay Thai, a little bit of MMA, any type of MMA, you come to realize that daily back and forth, daily interactions, they aren't anything. Most of the time, if I have a problem with somebody, and this is not toot my own horn, but I'm just stoic about it. Because I know what the extreme is. The extreme is fighting, and I have been there. I have been in that area of fighting. I've done it multiple times. I'm not scared of getting into a fight. I'm not scared of getting into an altercation. This is not toot my own horn or I'm an alpha. Oh, I'm such a badass. No, in truth, I don't know how to fight. I'm trying to join a Muay Thai gym now. But the point is that once you've been in that arena, once you've been in that area, it's going to be easier for you to deal with interactions. You may feel like I'll never get into a fight in my life, right? I can live my entire life and I will never ever get into a fight. And that could be true. The funny thing, that's what I actually thought. And then my brother said that you're gonna get into a fight in high school. And guess what? I got into another fight in high school. It doesn't have to be high school though. It could be college. It could be, you're talking to a girl at the bar and she has a boyfriend and the boyfriend's like, hey, what's up? It could be as simple as that. It could be as simple as you bumping into somebody. Why not be trained? Why not be armed? I don't just mean armed and, but I have a gun though. I got a gun. To me, if you have a gun, but you don't really know how to fight, the point is there could be so many scenarios. What if you're walking with your girl and then the guy just bumps into you? Or he's like, he says a nice ass to your girl. You're like, hey bro, don't say that. Stick up for her a little bit, good job. And then he's like, okay, let's fight, let's bang it out. You gotta be able to do something. You gotta at least be able to sedate him. You gotta be at least able to do something. But no, you won't, because you're like, damn, I've never gotten into a fight before. Oh my God, your heart is beating down your fucking chest. You're just like, you sit down on the floor, fetal stance. And you're like, all right, babe, let's go, babe. You're holding her hand, let's go. I mean, if that happens, your girl is definitely gonna remember that. She's gonna think, this guy cannot protect me at all, which is probably a very scary thought. And you can't protect yourself if anything happens, which is also a very scary thought. Think about people who can't fight. I've also noticed is that when they get into a situation, when they notice the situation is kind of getting close to that, what they'll do is they'll try to avoid it at all costs. And it's cool. Avoid fights at all costs. Avoid random fights with random people at all costs. I agree with that. But what I disagree with is the pussy or the slimy way I've seen people try to get out of fights, try to get out of any confrontation, And it just hurts your character. It hurts who you are as a man to just be like, if I get into a confrontation that gets a little too serious, I can't defend myself. A person can kill me. I don't like that thought. That's why I got jacked. That's why I'm about to learn how to fight. Because even though I have been in fights, I don't really know how to technically fight, Because it's like, Do you want somebody to have the ability to kill you? And we live in such a modern world, and everything I'm saying just sounds so crazy. But it only sounds crazy until you've actually been in that situation. When you talk to people who have gotten into fights and people who haven't gotten into fights, it's like, oh yeah, that would never happen to me. Oh, it can never happen to me. It's like if somebody broke into your house. Oh, that could never happen to me. But for the people you talk to who haven't gotten their houses broken into, oh, they're in that mind state because they know it's possible to happen. Just because something is a rare chance to happen doesn't mean it's impossible. Especially if we're living till 90, 100. Like you could not fight all your life and get into a fight at 75. That's my point. Many people are actually training, fighting. It's a very small percentage. You probably need a minimum amount of training to higher than most of the population to have that protection around your belt. So why not do it? Why not have that confidence, that protection? And if you pursue that, you will be able to pursue other areas in your life because you know that, hey, if I can do this, then I can do other things. That's the greatest thing about accomplishments. If I can do this, I can do multiple things. That's all I have to say.